It's been Mike Tech since you looked at me.
Hi, guys.
Beth!
Oh, hi, Beth.
Hi.
I'm D-Day.
I'm Rex. We must be Accuracy Third.
We are. Well, sometimes known as.
Sometimes.
Occasionally known as Accuracy Third.
Broadcasting from the Accuracy Third studios, this is Accuracy Third bringing you a burn barrel chat.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Neither justice nor peace!
Is that our new motto?
No.
The tone of this show has changed considerably during COVID.
Yes.
What's that piece of mail?
That's where I leave Josh's mail now.
I see.
Yeah, so when Josh gets mail, you can just leave it there for him. He knows about that.
Oh, well, then I'll stop taking
Listeners, we have a new mailbox.
It's built right into our Game of Thrones fence.
Yeah, it's a good fence. Very expensive. Listeners, do not start making a fence out of redwood. You will have to finish making that fence out of redwood. Now I don't have a bunch of money in the bank because remember when the sink just stopped working and I had to spend $9,000 that weekend so that we could have a kitchen sink?
Kitchen sinks are important.
Yeah, and emergency plumbing is expensive.
Yeah.
Listeners, do you think I got ripped off? Let me know in the comments. I might have. I don't know, but they were already here, and we did need a kitchen sink.
Oh, are we doing let me know in the comments? I guess we are a YouTube channel. And that's what YouTube channels do.
We are. Does everyone know about our YouTube channel?
Like and subscribe and smash that notify button.
Thank you to Ranger Kubrick for all of our incredible YouTube videos that we have on YouTube. And if you would like videos produced for you, may we suggest this filmmaker we know, Ranger Kubrick, nee 711, who would be more than happy to make videos for you for money, I expect.
That is sort of his profession. In fact, by the time we release this, maybe we'll have all of our season 1 episodes floating up there on YouTube because 7-Eleven has done them for us and we just need to give them a once-over before we hit publish. Do you have...
I feel like you're weirdly trying to pressure 7-Eleven.
No, did you not read his email?
What email?
Oh, I guess he didn't include you on that email. That's weird. He included, I got that email in the Accuracy Third box and in my personal, I figured he had you too.
Don't.
7-Eleven says, "Greetings, team. In an unexpected need to suddenly and quickly learn the fundamental basics of Adobe Premiere, I practiced by putting together videos for the entire first season of the podcast. They are now completed, uploaded, and awaiting your review, approval, and launch."
Holy shit. You guys didn't mention this.
That's because we both got it in our personal inboxes. I didn't notice that yours wasn't in that chain.
I mean, even if he sent it to my personal inbox, that email is rarely checked right now.
He did send it to you, so it is your fault, not inherent misogyny coming from Ranger Kubrick. He writes on, "You can go the Netflix route and launch all at once, which we'll probably do, or you can walk the Disney Plus path and release them a week at a time, or at a schedule of your own choosing."
I, for one, say, fuck that one at a time shit. The whole point of streaming is binging.
I said, let's do it a couple at a time or something like that because we've been releasing things so sporadically lately. It would be nice to get back on a regular schedule. But ultimately, I don't care much, so I deferred to Rex.
Also, it's not new content. It's just, well, it is new content overlaid on old content. It's zhuzhed up content. If you would like some zhuzh from your friends at Accuracy Third, check out our YouTube channel and tell your YouTube-obsessed friends.
That's really rad. I had no idea that was happening. Also, we haven't got together and chatted on mic for a while because for a while it was too depressing.
We've been living with depression.
Yeah, right? So for a while, it's pretty depressing.
Still living with a bit of that depression, but we're working on it, and there's good news.
I mean,
Good news around.
Thus far, there is good news, which is farther into good news than I would have suspected at this point.
I think there's generally a whole helping of random good news that is collecting up towards really good news. As of now, the burn is on. We're on our second theme for the year already.
Second theme.
National vaccination drive is ahead of schedule considerably. I've gotten half of the Moderna. D-Day got the Johnson & Johnson. We're moving towards being done with this part of our life.
Yeah, I was sick as hell for a day, and then I felt a lot better. And now it's like a week later, and I have diarrhea, but that's not because of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
No,
That's
it's
'cause
just
your
because
constant
you can't
dairy
stay away
thing.
from the dairy.
I had a lot of cream cheese on some real good bread last night. Had some lox on top of it. That was like at 2 a.m.
You know, for a guy who can't handle lactose, you keep a lot of cream cheese on hand. And I don't blame you. It's delicious. I'm a guy who tries to keep a lot of cream cheese on hand, but my guts tolerate it.
Yeah, well, who knows what it is I'm having such a serious reaction to.
I'm just saying, for the first time since we started doing the burn barrels during COVID, I feel genuinely hopeful that maybe we'll get to see each other in our context shortly.
I'm of the same mind. We've started having planning meetings for the volunteer department. And when we had our first meeting, nobody was particularly hopeful. And that's starting to shift. The vaccine push, I think, is really making everybody feel better.
So without digging too much into speculation or getting anyone's hope too much up, do you guys want to get your hopes really up?
I've started like making new Burning Man clothes and shit. So like that compulsion is here.
I started like planning it in my head and I started being like, okay, well, if these people go out in this way, then I could go out in this way and I could be there. And
Yeah, I'm excited. I bought new boots today.
Yeah.
actually.
I have the most wonderful, ridiculous hat. I cannot wait to
oh my God, your hat is so silly.
to improve upon it. Listeners, if you catch me at night at the next Burning Man that happens, you're going to get such a visual treat.
I'm going to try and tamper my excitement, but I am suddenly considering that it might actually happen in a way that I had not before. And tapping back into that feeling of excitement of seeing these people and doing these things and exploring this world, it's been I feel like when you're in mourning, you kind of have to shut down a bunch of stuff, and it makes it hard to be excited about something. And this last year has been extremely hard, and we're mourning a lot. So it's new to me to be like, yay, maybe I will actually go see my silly, crazy friends and do a tremendous amount of work in an unforgiving environment for funsies.
Mourning is right. I was watching a video on YouTube the other day from a foreign gentleman describing his experience at Burning Man. It was a solid half-hour thing. He shot really nice, high-quality video of the 2019 event and gave a short overview of what the event is for the uninitiated, and I soaked my shirt in tears. I miss that place.
I would really like to drive up an hour or so before twilight this year and like sit on the tailgate of my truck and just stare at the mountains as the sun sets. And then maybe set up a tent. I don't know. I don't know what I would be staying in this year. I have a good tent.
You do have a good tent. You've got a Kodiak. What else would you be staying in?
I mean, I just want a better bed than my 3-inch foam mattress on the ground. Might bring a bunch of milk crates out.
Yeah, just do milk crates and plywood.
Andy has done that has worked fairly well, is 2 cots to support your foam mattress topper thingy. It works shockingly well, and it's nice because it gets you up off the ground, and then you have storage underneath. So, because your Kodiak has space to hang out in it,
Yep.
but you still need to store some of your costumes underneath it.
Yes. And I was also thinking about bringing my my weird torsion spring pop-up tent that just becomes a fucking thing when you throw it in the air.
So you can just put your stuff in it.
Yeah, like that could be my pantry and my closet.
Oh, yeah. I had a stuffed tent a couple of years, but I never set it up. I just threw all my stuff in Andy's car barn.
Yeah. I mean, I also have a construction rack on top of my truck.
You can carry a lot of stuff.
I can carry a lot of stuff. I can hang a tarp from that to cover my shit with shade.
Oh, yeah.
And we could get a scaffold.
I feel like a scaffold would still be super helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, Burning Man planning meeting aside.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
guys,
let's
we
put a
might
pin
go to
in that.
Burning... Well, even if we don't go to Burning Man this year, we could go to Burning Man next year. Almost certain.
Almost certainly.
Yeah.
We should get a scaffold.
Unless, like, the Yellowstone caldera happens.
So I don't want to get into wild speculation, but wildly speculating. What would a Burning
Yeah,
Man...
we don't have a ton to talk about. I would love to get into wild speculation.
If Burning Man is half its size, let's say, how do we feel about how different that experience is going to be?
I mean, Deep Ply is probably going to be really disappointing, but what a good year for us to bring those 4 rims that I can't sell in the backyard, put them on some rebar, and put some blinky lights in them out in Deep Ply.
Lights on sticks.
Lights on sticks.
Jerks.
4 giant fucking lollipops right there in the backyard.
I have been to Burning Mans that were half the size.
Do you guys know the numbers via the years, like what the permit levels were? Because I feel like 45,000 was about my first year. Mm-hmm. In 07, that was about the size of Burning Man, I think. It's on the Wikipedia page.
It is on the Wikipedia page. But I have definitely been to Burning Man that small, and I think all that'll really happen is the interplay will be somewhat more sparse and the city will be less deep.
Yeah, I hope, and I imagine this is so, if Burning Man, as they're sorting out what they're going to do and what their expectations are, I'd hope they'd make a smaller map so that we can have a city as opposed to a series of campsites across a wide open desert.
Well, the thing about the way the map is laid out is every time they add a street to the outer side of it, they increase the potential population massively.
Right, because
those outer streets are
longer.
so long.
Yeah.
So if it's been going out to K and they pull it back to H, the city itself isn't going to feel different. There's just a couple fewer blocks of those really long, sparse blocks.
You say a couple fewer blocks way out there. I feel like the last 2 years we have been in the empty parking lot 200 feet away from the party while we're walking down like C and D, like at 6:30.
That's
You get the opportunity to get
Circumstantial.
lost there once a year, at least.
I've never felt like the inner city experience has been that wildly different based on the population.
Yeah, I would agree.
Esplanade might be somewhat less crazy at night. It'll be like 15% less stressful to bicycle.
See,
That sounds nice.
Maybe.
Maybe.
that might be true. Like, I think that Esplanade would by and large be the thing that is more similar to previous years than other parts of the city. Like, I think a lot of those big theme camps, with the obvious exception of Thunderdome, have like all those containers of all that stuff to bring out and still have like big exciting frontage. It's the rest of the city that might be much more cobbled together and much more 2000 or 2008.
That's great. Bring the jank. I want a jank here.
Yeah, I do love the jank. My aesthetic really fits the jank.
Yeah, I think Burning Man could stand to be a lot less cool and a lot less pretty.
Janky is fabulous. I really hope we get lots of janky ambition and the bacchanal we deserve.
Yeah, I really think that like maybe the theme for 2021 should have been oops, STD.
It's okay. The playa dust kills the super syphilis.
But not the congenital pink eye.
No, it causes the congenital pink eye. It's the trade-off. We get fairy shrimp in our eyes, and they get inflamed.
Is that what is fucking up our eyes? No? Oh, good. Good.
No, it's because you keep touching them.
And I don't wash my hands out there. But this
Congenital
year I
pink
will.
eye comes from poop getting in your eyes. Please don't touch your eyes without washing them after you get poop on your hands.
Which you get by touching anything at Burning Man.
Also, friends and family, pink eye is an STD, so inform your partners of your pink eye.
Yeah, just make sure your partners sanitize their hands before they put their hands in your eyes.
Like no eye licking without protection.
No condom can prevent pink eye.
Just be careful with, like, doing your eye stuff. That's all. Do smart eye stuff.
Stop touching your eyes. Why are you doing that?
Don't yuck my eye stuff.
You don't go pink eye to brown eye.
You don't go brown eye to eye. Brown eye plus eye equals pink eye.
Brown eye goes to nowhere except for washing your hands.
Let us know if you want pink eye merch.
Let's read some email.
Yeah, so here's the thing about the emails. We've gotten a surprising lack of emails in like the past 6 months.
I wonder if
It's a good thing we haven't been checking
because
the
we
inbox.
haven't been checking the inbox, so people get tired of not getting responded to.
Yeah, well, I'm not going back more than the past 6 months to see if people have written us emails. If you wrote us an email like 9 months ago, write us another email.
If you wrote us an email in the past year or two and didn't get a response, it's because a lot of us have been dealing with depression in unhealthy ways. Try again. Or don't.
Yeah, this is a hobby. Like, just remind us that we're supposed to be doing a hobby, and we'll probably do our hobby. Guilt is a great motivator for this hobby.
Oh no, I'm avoidant. I shut down with guilt.
Yeah, I get more productive with guilt, except I don't check the inbox, but I do editing because I feel so bad that we have listeners and we have patrons on Patreon. And thank you, patrons, that I edit so that you don't hate me for not doing my editing.
You can guilt D-Day. D-Day is your most effective guilt. So
I get effective through ADD medication. Would you like to insure me? I could use a prescription refill.
So, our first email is from our listener, Scott Shipper. And Scott Shipper says, shameless plug from a shameless man.
That's okay. This is a shame-free zone.
Dear trio of fuckery.
Ooh.
If you are missing that thing in the desert like me, try listening to my new radio station. Largest collection of Burning Man songs anywhere. Give it a 3-song challenge. What is a 3-song challenge?
what is a Burning Man song?
I don't know. I also don't know what a Burning Man song is.
Well, listeners, I suppose you're going to find out.
He claims it is hosted by Larry Harvey and Paul Addis, which, in the best case scenario, real bad taste there, Scotty.
I love this already.
And in the worst case scenario, I don't know. I don't know what the worst case scenario is.
To play with the dark arts.
But we still don't know what Burning Man songs are. But Scott does love the podcast, which I love. Thank you, Scott. And he feels he knows too much about us at this point. So that's
Fairly
us
accurate.
doing our jobs.
Scott, to the left, Scott.
Scott is always looking forward to the next episode. Thank you again very much, Scott. That is quite gratifying. He recommends that we listen to his new radio station at antidysentery.com. That is ANTIDYSENTERY.com. And Scott calls himself Scotty. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you for reaching out.
Right. Well, listeners, a Burning Man song sounds like this.
We traveled under the mountains for the whiskey and the beer. For the whiskey, whiskey and beer, and the beer, whiskey and beer.
Did that sound like a Burning Man song to you? We don't know because we haven't listened to it yet. That's the magic of podcasts.
I'm just going to edit that into like a garble.
You do whatever you need to do.
Already
Beth.
a garble. Do we have another email?
We do. We have an email from the star of our last episode, Nico.
Nico.
Says that the podcast release was the best gift today ever. And she has a major update if we want to do a birthday podcast a year later, COVID version with the fucking fairy. She promises it'll be just as good. Plus, she adores the fuck out of all of us so deeply. We have a backlog of a lot of interviews that I haven't edited yet, Nico. So we'll take a rain check on that, but we will check back in with you at some point.
Thank you so much for sharing. It's really cool and bold to be able to share your personal shit in a way that allows other people to see it. And I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us.
It is kind of neat that our guests come on here and just lay out a bunch of really personal shit for the world.
It took us years to get comfortable enough to do that.
We only had to let it trickle out bit by bit so people like Scotty can know too much about us to the left.
To be fair, I do a bunch of lies.
We call those confabulations.
Yeah, but sometimes I take out, like, the knots that people say. So, like, it seems like you are doing a thing that you say that you're not doing. You haven't proofed an episode in a while, Beth. You don't know. But Nico wishes us peace, love, and bacon grease. And thank you, Nico. It was a pleasure listening to you for about 10 and a half hours straight one day as I finished up your episode. We've got a couple pounds in the fridge. Feel free to cook that up, strip it of its grease.
Grease. Did we have another email? You said there were things.
I mean, we do have another email, but it's another one of those things where it looks like one of our friends sent us an email, but really they want us to do some search engine optimization. And I mean, I've already read that on the podcast more than once, and this one is pretty long. So I figure I'll just skip it if it's all the same to you guys.
I suppose that's fine. Do you want to talk about the theme?
Yeah, I think it's worth talking about the theme.
So, I am less attached to this than you guys are. I did not know, A, that there was a theme, and B, that the theme was changed. Can you enlighten me to what the fuck is going on and if it matters?
Well, I think, first of all, it was kind of weird to release a theme before you confirm that you're doing an event. It's weird just to have, themes for Burning Mans every year if you don't have the event. Like, we had a theme last year. We didn't actually do the party. Shouldn't that theme carry forward? Was 2020 just the year of, multiverse Burning Man that no one ever had?
I think technically there was this online thing.
It won an award recently.
What award?
It's like the VREs, whatever awards are being given out for VR. It won one of those.
Okay, I don't count that as actual information.
Well, that's your opinion, man.
Yes, absolutely. And it's not a well thought out one or one that I could really defend.
I am fine with the theme moving on. How many more Larry themes do we have? Can we bust through these as fast as possible? So
maybe a couple of them. I'm pretty sure next year's theme is colonialism. Just because he's still spiting me and he won't do hygiene.
That was this year's theme. That's why it had to change.
Cargo Cult 2.0.
Well, the cargo cult itself isn't colonialism. It's colonialism to point out that a bunch of pretty well-off white people in the desert are doing cargo cult stuff.
Well, so let's talk.
I don't know that you understand what colonialism is, but we can talk about that on the other podcast.
Villa Incognito, that's not the actual old theme.
Villa Incognito was not a great
Tom Robbins book.
But it did have Tanuki in it.
Yeah, it was a fine Tom Robbins book.
In the sense that they're all at least okay.
Depends on which one you read first.
They're all fine.
It was Terra Incognito.
Terra Incognito.
Yes.
So,
which is a really good drag name. Sorry to interrupt, Beth, but it is.
Can you enlighten us as to why
that's a problem?
Why that is colonialist?
Terra Incognito is a
land.
It's unknown territory.
I see. On a map,
yes.
You would say Terra Incognito.
Yes.
Of there is land here, but we do not know it.
I don't know how. I don't know
What
if there
language
is
is it in? Is it in?
Latin. So I don't know if there is a specific and more troubling colonial connotation to it, aside from it being a Eurocentric artifact of the era of colonial expansion.
What has the theme been changed to?
The Great Unknown,
The Great Unknown.
which it's a nice pivot. It is the exact same concept, but with the
Without the
without the illusion.
1400s map of the
Right.
world
Right.
attached to it.
It's a contemporization. The Great Unknown is how that concept translates into contemporary English idiom.
I think that's kind of fascinating. Like, so Terra Incognito, that idea of being land unknown, that is seeded with the idea of we should know this land and we're going to conquer it and we're going to hold it. Is that why it is a colonialist idea?
It's colonialist as far as I know, and I know that if you want to explore the discourse that led to this change, it's all in the comments of the journal post announcing the initial theme. If y'all are curious, but I don't know if there's anything more colonial about it than that it is an artifact of Europe's era of colonial expansion.
I mean, better that we pivoted and decided that the theme was Here Be Monsters. I would be very good at doing the theme, Burning Man.
Yeah, except we would have had dental hygiene be every.
Not dental hygiene, that's too fucking specific. That's a bad theme. Hygiene is very broad.
Right? Oral hygiene is much broader. We need to include the tongue. We need to include the uvula, the inside of the lips. It cannot just be the teeths.
Even though I would like to say that it is a good theme, oral is not a good theme.
I could get
Disagree.
into oral. I could totally get
disagree.
into oral. I think that's a great theme.
Not as good as hygiene.
In fact,
Hygiene's pretty good.
I think I might petition that the themes for all of the 2020s are just straight single word sex related themes with no coloration. to them
Oh,
at
I
all.
love it. I love it.
This year's theme is fraudage.
This one is cuck.
I think most years.
Oh God, I can't wait for edging.
Oh, edging is going to be a cool year.
Not as cool as sounding.
Oh, sounding. Look, we got to have tough years.
See ya in
That's-
2029 for prolapse.
Prolapse.
Prolapse is only sexualized in porn.
Catch me outside.
I think that's your underpants' job.
Ooh, nice.
Is there.
Thank you. I was actually quite proud of that.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of it.
I didn't even catch it. Sorry, guys.
It's because you are not a special pair of underpants. That's a button. Give me another opportunity and I'll put a hat on a hat.
I mean, now I don't get it. Apparently, I thought I got it, but like I'm continually learning that I'm not as smart as I think I am. Have you guys been noticing this? Have you been paying attention to this? My multiple failures? You guys been witnessing this?
I have been in awe of your failures and successes.
I think that's in some ways the meta theme of this podcast.
Is failures?
D-Day's failures specifically.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Listeners, you can't see his eyebrows are really confused right now.
The rest of my face isn't doing great either. Good news is if you know what Beth is talking about, you can tell me in the comments.
Like and subscribe. Smash that notify button.
Yeah, rate and review us on your podcast platform of choice.
So in the realm of, like, let's pretend Burning Man is happening.
So for the theme of the great unknown,
Yeah.
it'd be a great time to make Guess Whom happen.
Oh, I want to do Guess Whom.
I actually thought of a great complexification for it.
Wait, we have to outline this for our listeners.
No. We should jump into what the DLC is going to be before they even know what the original product is.
Well, the
Guys, it's going to be half as big as the original map.
The complexification is just everybody in masks.
So, Guess Who is a terrible game that exists that asks you to quantify people by their very basic appearances and their gender and their race and their glasses and their haircut. And it's pretty annoying. And I played it a few Thanksgivings back with my young niece and nephew, and I was frustrated by this categorization of people by their physical appearance. And I came back and talked to Rex about it, and Rex offered that maybe what we should have instead is Guess Whom, where you, instead of asking what a human being looks like, you try to describe what a human being's flavor character is. Like, basically, you have a giant Guess Who board, but the only rule is you cannot use physical descriptions to guess. You have to do...
Everything has to be a simile.
Yeah, like, this guy is very much like our friend Kevin. Or...
This person has never seen a painting they like.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah, and this human only gets celery from the corner store.
Wow.
Yeah. Guess Whom is a much deeper and more complex investigation into our assumptions and ideas about people's appearances.
Yeah, this person has never been on the swings.
Have I ever seen this person actually sober?
Oh, my.
Oh, goodness.
I haven't.
This is going to be dark.
I mean, it would be so simple to make. We could make it a big version of the board can be Plyatech, then just big laminated pictures on plywood backs.
Do you want to make this for us so I don't have to make this for us?
I'll make this.
for Yay,
make
Rex
this.
is going to make this for us.
Yeah. This
Should it all be pictures of our friends, though?
That's what I'm unsure about. Do we use pictures of real people or do we use procedurally generated pictures?
or do we use Guess Who pictures? Or all three?
We could use art portraiture.
What's that?
Just like portraits, just find like paintings of people, slap them in.
I think so.
Bunch of Chuck
may
clothes.
may I make this a more approachable task? How about we just make a regular size game and then slap it down and ask people if they want to play it and give them the rules?
I'm fine with that.
More of an interactive as a mock-up of how well is this going to work? How interesting is this?
Okay, I will. We can dry run it.
Yeah.
We can dry run it if y'all will help me make it next year. If it's a success. If we
Absolutely
want to scale it up.
Well,
Because I think it's much more fun as a giant game.
Oh, of course. Everything is much more fun as a giant game. But we could literally just buy a Guess Who board, put in different images.
Yes.
Tell people the rules and have them play it as a dry run of, is this fun enough that it's worth making in giant proportion?
We could even do some mixed dry runs. We just come up with like several sets of images, swap them out, see which ones are effective.
Ooh, yeah. That way we could try it with the actual Guess Who things and with our actual friends' pictures and with like...
And with computer generated people, and we could make Sims.
Yeah. Pretty
Ew.
gross. But we could use one of those character creators, which is not Sims. That's not a good idea, but the rest of it is a good idea. We should do that part.
There are some really good character creators.
Yeah, I just think that it's important that it's all done in the same art style.
Yes.
And that's a really good way to take care of that. Oh, man, the not remake, but like upscaling of the Mass Effect trilogy is about to come out. That has a randomizer. We'll just do all different Commander Shepards.
Actually, this is good for this
Content.
year. If
You're welcome, listeners. This is good for content.
I hope so. If this year is kind of a dry year, That and like a tall table and some tall folding chairs and an overhead sign. We can just plunk down on the Esplanade. We're an interactive art project.
Okay, let's bring out a card table. It's decided. A card table and 2 ratchet straps and 4 pieces of rebar. I'm in.
Love this.
Oh, shit. I
do
just
they
said
make-
I'm in.
Do they make
on mine.
bar height card tables?
Yes.
I want to see if we can make that happen. There's just something fun about it being like slightly elevated.
Okay, but it's got to be like one of those shitty looking like folding banquet tables. If we have to elevate one of those, I'm down to do that.
Okay, we'll
lift
work out
it.
this
We'll
week.
get it lifted.
Guess whom? Coming Burning Man 2021 or whomst? Guess whomst?
Copyright TM registered.
Is there anything else we want to chat about?
Did we say everything we wanted to say about the theme?
Not the worst mistake Burning Man could have made.
No, and love the fact that 2 weeks later, happy to decolonize their idea.
Yeah, if they had chosen the theme apartheid, they wouldn't have kept the theme apartheid for very long. Like, I'm sure they all had to talk about it and get consensus
They
in the
really-
changing of the theme.
They bailed on Underground Railroad a few years ago.
Oh, shit, that's funny. God damn.
Sorry.
Burning Man 2022 Silk Road.
It just reminds me that and that was Caravanserai.
Right.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
When I started, the city was like segregated.
In what way?
Well, it was self-segregated, but it was quiet on one side and noisy on the other, and it was supposed to be in a gradient.
Has Burning Man put down its foot and separated the noisy and the quiet like they're totally different classes of people? Is that what they have done?
That's what they did, but then they gave up on that. I don't think it worked very well. Now there's just Hushville.
Yeah, I don't think that you can give any quarter to the quiets. I mean, if you give the quiets an inch.
I do hate a shimby
A shimmy?
in my backyard.
That's mean-hearted. That's good.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
that a good?
Hurt some feelings there, my friend.
Not mine.
Throw them out there. Didn't you have some other comments that you said there were comments elsewhere?
Yeah, no, I looked at them. Most of them were mostly like really nice, kind well wishes from our patrons who were also asking what the password is to get into the sauce and the gravy locked Patreon content. So, you know, while we were recording the first couple minutes of this when I was a little bit quiet, I sent them messages. I thanked them for donating to the cause. And
This is something a listener sent to us that I cannot describe.
This is Kitty Fashion Week is what this is. That is a cat on a catwalk.
yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't understand TikTok, Beth, but I understand that.
Yeah, I'm just saying a listener thought this is very important and said, you know you need this in your life.
I don't disagree.
I'm glad to have seen it.
I feel enriched.
Listeners, have you discovered TikTok? TikTok is something else. I don't get it.
Quite literally.
Yup.
Shall we sign off from this ramble?
Guess so.
I'm very excited about the potential possibility that maybe there's a chance that there's a way to gather in this group that I'm super excited about in a few months.
I want to squeeze the people I love, please.
Yes.
It's going to be a weird huggy year, guys.
It
Weird huggy.
I am
year.
going to
really
cry
is.
and come everywhere.
the super syphilis will be on everything.
Are there cry related diseases? Like there are certain diseases that only go through your tears?
Pink eye.
Because
Bringing it back to pink eye.
We are going to need a party host. Listeners, if your camp has decided that you're doing it this year and you want to host us, reach out. It's getting to be about the time that we will want to make that decision.
And if we don't have Burning Man, we're going to go camping. You guys should probably go camping too, like with your friends. You know,
we're not going
spend time
camping
with your friends.
If Burning Man,
we're not going camping with you.
We are not going to the playa. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, just go camping.
Just go camping. Lots of BLM land in this West.
Mm-hmm. Good night.
grim-faced dwarfs of war. We grabbed up those hammers and axes, though the barkeep knew not what for.